You might need to click something to say you're okay.
Yeah, that's good. I did.
Okay. Cool. Okay.
Okay, so we have Andrea's zip with a reproduction of the problem.
Yeah.
And we have tried to remove the workaround
So you can see the original problem.
here
Yeah.
and here. And
Yeah.
hopefully this reproduces the original problem. And all we have is MicroPython in the main thread spawning a worker.
Yeah.
And that worker just literally prints OK to the console.
Yeah.
And we're not going to do it twice, we're just going to do it once.
Yeah.
And if we run that, let's change this. So leaked scope worker.
Yeah.
And this is leaked scope core. So we're actually getting a leak scope worker here. Well, what Andrea has put in as leaked scope. But anyway, the point is, this thing, there's something broken here.
Yeah.
And potentially this is why. Now, I think, from my point of view, there is something I did not understand when I was building the bindings, the proxying, as to why I have to do this thing here. So I'll remove this. This is in MicroPython. It's
Right.
bindings. Actually, we can do it around this whole thing. So if it's a function, you've got to bind it to this. I don't understand this at all.
Right.
But that's okay. Well, for now, let's just remove that and
Yes.
see if that
Let's just
fixes
see
it.
if that
This is
fixes the thing. Yes.
this is something that we should look at. And
But I noticed
actually,
that this is where what you're doing is get yeah. What I'm saying is that we're binding something to something, and that might be the source of this leak.
yes, exactly. And it's that code that I've written that I've just commented out.
Yeah.
Supposedly works on the core, but maybe it'll work out. Global this is actually something else.
Yeah.
But okay, so let's build this fix. And the problem is the tests will fail now because the local test suite here for MicroPython.
Yeah.
You can see that we need this bit of code to make it work, but it could be just because it's a special node thing.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
not
why
sure.
don't you could put the bug fix that I proposed earlier this week.
I'm not sure if you can. Well, yeah, that's okay because we know this works when it's enabled. Like if I enable this build, oops, and run the tests, it all works.
Yeah.
Right. So, but if I disable this, I can't run the tests in a browser context, but that's okay. But now we'll copy across this to back over here.
Yeah.
We'll use this new version. So star to, I think it's here. Yep. Okay. Yes. Yes. All right. So now we go back over here to Andrea's code. So now we have the modified version of MicroPython that doesn't have this funky bind
Yeah.
thingy. And we will see what happens if we reload this. Okay, it still has the same problem. I'm doing Control-Shift-R, so I hope it is loading a new version.
Try it with a private
Private.
private
Yeah.
instance of the browser, because that's
Like this.
yeah. No.
Still no good. Okay.
Yes.
So maybe that's not it. But let's see. Well, this leak scope is kind of a potentially red herring. But the point is what is happening here? Proxy handler apply target this args. So if we just log this, so apply f bound,
That's a function.
and then this, the args is okay, right?
You're right. That's the
Target
and
returns this, and then this thingy here, which is what this it's also printed down there, is the this arg, and that's so that's what it's supposed to be. That's supposed to be xworker.window.console.log. That's supposed to be the log function
yes,
or a proxy for the log function on
yes,
core. And then okay, here is the argument list, which is just a single array with okay. And this target, it's acting on this, yeah. So I can sort of understand what's going on there. And then what's supposed to happen is that return result. Well, I don't know what result is. Do you know what result is?
no, I don't know.
Something not in this. A result
Oh,
is
okay, here we go. A result is
trap. Yeah, okay. Result is a function that takes
yeah,
a trap, a target, and arguments. And I don't know what apply is as capitals. But we're applying the target argument of context of this arg and args dot, or maybe that's where the map comes from.
yeah.
Yeah, anyway, map argument, but argument, what is argument?
Where's that coming from?
Oh, args.map argument. Yeah, okay, so argument must be something. So we don't know what apply is and we don't know what argument is, but they've got to be functions. What is capital apply? Oh, it's just a
It's a
string
constant. It's just
apply.
telling us. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
It's just a string, okay. What's argument as entry? Oh, this is a lot of stuff I don't understand. Okay, it's a function, does something.
Yeah. Takes a type and a value. So if the type is a function, which is what
No,
we've
no, 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 no. It's an as entry. It's like a, what does that mean?
no idea. Can we grep for that and figure out what an as entry is? An instance of?
As entry is a function that takes a transform to a value to a, so an entry is a function that just takes to return to tuple, right? As entry, switch of, right. This is probably something to do with proxying.
Yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
So it's just enumerating all the things this could be a case of and doing the right thing for each, which is
But you can see that perhaps if you applied this like in a nested fashion to something that was already a proxied object, you'd get this sort of blowing up of
yes.
arrays of arrays of arrays of arrays
Yeah.
thing. Not saying that's what's going on, but yeah. Right, so result, okay, that's the other thing, result. Yeah, okay, as entry. And then argument is as entry as well. Type value goes to if proxied. Yeah, this is doing some proxying stuff. I mean, I kind of do not
But
understand.
this is the
Maybe if
point:
you
is that the stuff that he's trying to proxy has weird stuff attached
yeah,
to it.
right. So result apply. But what again was this trap? Okay, it's just so target. So argument context, which is this arg. Yeah. So the point is this arg is not what he expects. It's
Yeah,
already nested some kind of too many levels, and then he's
yeah,
mapping argument onto all the arguments. That bit's fine because we know the arguments are okay.
yeah.
It's this bit here that's funny. Mapping argument onto context when context, which is this arg, is this thingy. Dedicated worker global scope. What does that mean?
I
How do I?
guess that's the current um global list of the worker, that specific worker.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm
Proxy
guessing
framework.
here. Your guess is as good as
What
mine.
is? So this is an array of 6 things, and then when you expand it, the first. Why are these things here different to that? I don't understand what's
It's been changed from when it's been
printed.
printed to what the current state of the object is.
Why? But why don't I see dedicated global scope in this first thing? It's changed to an array of an object and a null. Well, I guess this is the proxied version, right?
Yeah.
Ah, I don't know. Maybe if we, oh no, this one won't work. Maybe if we, can we crash just like as soon as we print it? Like if I just do fail is not defined. So now if I expand this, it should be just, yes, here we go. So this is
Ah,
what it looked like before. So dedicated worker global scope. What is that thing? Whoa. Cancel animation frame, close, load MicroPython.
this is the global scope.
Proxy JS ref, yeah. But this is, so when
So look,
you run
what
it,
you've got, that's recursive. Proxy JS ref is the same thing as what we're looking at now. Go look at it.
yeah, yeah.
It's
But
and let me, yeah, okay.
it's got X worker, yeah. The
So
proxy JS,
turtles all the way down.
but is this proxy JS ref, is it? So why are we past proxy JS ref? I mean, this is proxy JS ref is supposed to be, I guess it's not the best name in the world, but it's where is it defined? Proxy JS ref. Yeah, it's basically just a list of JavaScript objects
Yeah,
and they're indexed by Python. So whenever Python wants to proxy or reference a JavaScript object, it puts it into this JavaScript array and it
yeah,
just knows the index into it.
yeah. It's so you
And the
can link the
first,
two sides of the JavaScript and the Python world.
exactly. And the first entry in that is just global this for that might have been historical reasons and no longer necessary.
So, but you've got global. Okay, so this is why we're going round in circles here, because you've got global this dot JS, you know, the proxy object.
but that's okay. That's okay to do that. It's just circular reference, but it's not a problem. It's just so that you can reference the global this, I think. Yeah, here, ref equals 0. JS attra global this dot ref is 0. JS object attribute, yeah. It's kind of just for that reason. But this, sorry, I didn't explain that very well, but it shouldn't harm having it there. So this is the dedicated scope is
And here we go
there
again.
again.
Yeah,
But that's global, but that's okay. But then, so these are the things that MicroPython is trying to proxy.
yeah.
X worker is the first thing that it was proxied, and then some sync thing, and then an array, and another array, and a function. So these are the things that Python has tried to
Yeah.
access, right? And then,
That's args.
yeah, that's okay. But what's the other? What are the other 6 things in here?
Oh,
Oh, what is that? Sorry. But this is, so it's passed here. It's passing proxy JS ref is the object. It shouldn't be that. It should be, yeah. So the confusing thing is that it's supposed to, what it's supposed to be is xworker.window.console.log, but in fact, we're being passed proxy JSRef. What we need to do is turn on a bit of debugging here. It's just not easy because it's just with comments. But this is the main one actually. Look up attribute. So make and copy. This is pretty crude, but that'll do. Didn't get anything there. I was expecting that it would look up. Did that not build? No, did. Oh, debug maybe. No, console debug.
Yeah, try log or something. Yeah. Yeah.
Why isn't debug on? I think it's easier if we do it that way.
Yeah.
Still doesn't matter. So first thing we do is look up attribute xworker. That's fine. That's from this first bit here. Yeah. And then we look up attribute little xworker, which is from the worker thread. And then we look up console, and then we look up log, and then we apply the function to it.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? And you're applying. It's interesting because you're applying on the proxies. You're applying. Really, we should be applying first. Here, let me call. Oh, I don't have any debugging. Surely we do. So JS object call. This should be the call here. I can't do console log here. Print. I think we can do this. JS object call. Let's just see if that even works. Yeah, so JS object call, right, and the document is not defined. All right, call worker attribute. Look up console, look up log call. Document is not defined. Oh, what's happening is it's calling JS right. This is okay.
That's a different error to what we had last time, and is that down to the fact that you were printfing things?
This is this here.
Yeah.
It's trying to. There's a few things here we have to fix when this is a worker. Else, yeah. So here, is there a thingy for if not worker?
So this, as I understand, so this is going to be compiled into the PyScript and into that massive MJS.
Here we go. Is worker.
Yeah, there's an is worker constant that you can. That's basically what I did with the pull request earlier this week.
Yeah. What we could do is where if I is node worker.
So there are two things we're interested in.
We just want document.
That's always only ever going to be available in the if it's a web. If it's web.
Okay, so we could do web, or we could do document is non-null, but I think in web is better.
So we've got So we've got node, we've got web, and we need worker as well.
Well, it's okay.
It's okay.
There's actually we don't need it. I could have commented this bit out, but we're actually printing to standard out and to this DOM.
Right.
That's why sometimes you get 2 error messages. We don't actually need to call it at all. But so there's a few things. This definitely I think should be fixed like this, because if you're in a worker and you want to, there is no DOM element.
Yeah.
But if you're in a worker, you should have configured some other element to print to. But for the sake of making progress now, we don't.
So that
I think
could
this
just be js.console.log.
Can you do that from a worker?
Yeah, you can do console.log it should work, I think. Try it. His work. Yeah.
But it's kind of a bit. Yeah. You're getting just a byte array. It's very ugly.
Rather than the string.
Yeah, because we've got to convert it to a string first. But it doesn't matter because we're actually still getting this this print because it's coming in. It's coming in via mscript and printf. All right. So let's not worry about that right now. Yeah, that says JS object call, I think. All right, so we're getting.
I love that you can read ASCII just from the.
Well, I'm just guessing because there's a double 108, 108, and then a 10 is a new line. So I'm guessing that 108 is a double L, and an A is definitely 97.
Yeah, exactly.
And 95 is probably underscore.
Yeah.
And the J at the start and the obj are both 106, so it kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Just so we're looking at attribute worker, then we're calling it. So those first two lines is this call here.
Yeah.
Right, in Python. Then we're looking up, and there's no proxying there. That's fine, that works. Now we're looking up worker, looking up window, looking up console, looking up log, and then calling that with OK.
Yeah.
And then that's not working. So something's wrong already, right? Can we do just like print worker, print X worker? What does that do? Yep, so it's a JS object, it's a proxy thingy.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's when you call it.
X worker dot window.
Then we'll
it's
get
another proxy thing.
Yeah.
It's just, this is always going to be proxied, but
it's when we try and call something that it's because it's and then now try calling. Well, then you just get the next line below anyway. So
it's oh, hang on. No, it's the same. Okay, so but is this even correct already? Like load attribute from worker. Load attribute for object target is revoked. Because you see what's happening, what it feels like is happening is I get worker, I load window. So MicroPython is like, oh, JavaScript, can you load the window attribute from X worker? And then that's going through Andrea's proxying mechanism and saying, yes, we can, here it is. And then that's going through MicroPython's proxying and turning it back into a Python referenceable object.
Yeah.
And then it's going, oh, from here, can we load console? And it has to unwrap the Python proxy, go back through the worker proxy and go back to the main core thread, unwrap console, and then go all the way back again.
Yeah.
So I can imagine how
that long chain of events. It's doing and throwing basically. It's not.
But sorry.
It's doing consecutive lookups rather than one big lookup.
Yes. But I can imagine how something goes wrong in that call chain. Obviously it has, because the thing we get at the end is not something we can call. It's not log. I mean, it's failing here because I put that fail in, but if we remove that fail, it fails. It then it then fails with, map could not be cloned. But the thing it's trying to call is this PyScript proxy JS thing, which is totally wrong. So what's gone wrong?
So how is he? What I want to know is how is he fixed that? That might give us a clue as to what's gone wrong, because he's had to patch it in that way.
The patch here is that
take the first thing out
is to return global this instead of the argument. Which it's return the first element of the argument. but global this, it's not global this, it should be log. Like the this arg, well, this target, yeah, I'm not sure what target this args. Is target the function supposed to be the function console.log?
Yeah.
Because if you look, if we make it fail again, yeah, we've got to make it fail. Yeah, apply f bound, return this. What is that? So f bound, that's the target. The target's just returning this. I thought the target would be like console.log, but that's okay. This arg is something weird. Yeah, well, but something's already gone wrong, I'd say, in this very first few lines. X worker. It's got an X worker. And then look up on that. Does it work if I look up something that doesn't exist? What happens? JS object has to actually window, so that works. Right, so it's kind of working there. Okay. So let's go back here. Let's not log that anymore.
Yeah.
JS object, I've got to do a little bit.
Perhaps the most impressive thing I've seen all week.
Sorry, what is?
You being able to read ASCII just by looking at the integer.
Oh dear. Call n. Let's log some. So what are we calling? We're calling with one. So console.log or debug. Call one just means call with one argument.
Yeah.
Fref a naught and out. That's just the raw stuff. But really, it's really proxy JS ref. So fref is an integer representing the index into this table.
Yeah.
And a naught is sort of the proxied thing, and then a naught JS is the unproxied thing, is the actual JavaScript object.
Yeah.
So I'm just printing out hopefully what the call
what we're
is.
looking at when we're unwinding that thing dot blah dot blah dot blah.
A naught has already been declared. Oh, what did I do? Did something wrong. Right, so call one f. So the function where oh no, sorry, that's running the worker. We don't want to look at that. Here we go. We want to look at this line here. I'm sorry if this is very small.
No, don't worry.
So we're calling with one argument 5. So the fifth element of JS proxy is our argument. That's what that says.
Yeah.
And then there's just some sort of internal M script and pointers. But
yeah.
really what that resolves to is we're calling this function and the argument is okay, a string okay, and that's correct, right?
Yes.
So the argument's good, and then we see that down here anyway. But the function that we're calling is a proxied function of length 0, name bound. And I don't know, this must be, I don't know what bound means, but this must be Andrea's proxying stuff.
Yeah.
Bound. No. Yeah. Function bound, return this. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what that does. But, I mean, this doesn't look that incorrect. Okay, but then it's coming in to apply. But this looks correct because the thing that we're calling is this bound thing, which is what we can't get to here when we actually get to the JavaScript side in the worker. So that looks right. So it's this second argument that's no good. Right, and that doesn't appear here. So I'll just go back to the MicroPython stuff. So we're just calling that bound with a0.js. And I think call one done. Just put that there to see when that's actually returning. And yeah, so call one done is not happening. You can see it's up here because this call was all good. That worked. But here it's not. So we're calling to call one, which is going into this apply. Like if yeah, it's going directly here. Well, maybe there's some proxy handler. Is that exactly it? Can't see that.
Okay, so this looks like a proxy thing of, setting things, deleting properties, defining properties, applying a function.
Yeah, no, but this apply is exactly this code we're looking at here.
Yeah.
It's because you can see the worker.js line 481.
Yeah.
So this handler object, that's exactly the thing that it's going to call. Right, so I don't think there's anything wrong with this. So it's just calling this proxy function with that argument, and it comes in here. But for some reason,
so
this arg is incorrect. But where does this arg come from? Because we're only calling it with one. See, the call, it's literally this call here. It's just this. It's calling it with a single argument. It's calling that proxy.js fref, which is this thingy.
Right.
It's calling that. It's calling this function here. With a single argument. Okay. So where does this array of length 6 come from? And args. So this is not coming here directly. It's going via something else. It must.
So this is right. The point that Andrea was making, is that I don't know where this is coming from.
But how do we go from, we need to know how we go from this line here, because this is the call we're making into JavaScript. So we're calling that proxy function, which is like double proxy.
So yes,
and
so
a0.js is okay.
But that's clearly not the proxy. That's clearly not the function that we're looking at.
No, we've got another indirection.
There's something in between. That's
yes, exactly. It's something in between. So it's not. When you call this entity here, what happens? Proxy target F is bound. See, we need to know.
Bound. This is an array of 2 there.
Oh, sorry. Oops, I lost it. Yeah, bound. This is an array of 2. Function and 3. That might be something.
But that's probably a reference to a particular
internal to maybe.
Yeah.
The worker
proxy. Yeah. It's a pointer basically to a function.
But we need to know what's being called, how this gets here. Proxy handler. Is there another apply? No. Oh, here, traps handler. No. It's back to where we were.
No, go back to the one before.
This is thread of main trap entry arg switch trap.
So I'm looking for places where we're expanding args, so we get. Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's not there.
Can we? We're in JavaScript, aren't we?
Yeah.
Can we just not? What's the JavaScript keyword for the debugger? So we just step in, and then we'll find the function.
Yeah. How do I put it? breakpoint.
Yeah, it's not. Is it debugger?
I don't know, definitely not a
Breakpoints. What is it? Well, you can. Oh no, I want to.
How do I put
Is it debugger?
Can you just continue? Oh, hang on. But here we can see the call chain, of course. Object apply worker.js 484.
Oh,
But that's
yeah.
this.
We just need a stack basically we can navigate, and the debugger allows us to do that interactively. But this is just as good enough.
No, but it's MicroPython MJS 1016. That's exactly what it is. Sorry, what we were looking for. 1016. Yeah, that's call one. That's just what we were printing. So it thinks there's nothing in between it.
What? Hang on.
Because it's going straight from that line,
Yeah.
the column 205, which is 205. Yeah, it's literally that. It's going from here, which is that call that we were identified before.
Yeah.
Directly to this fail is not defined. Unless something's done something in between and then called it and we didn't. Like, no, but it can't. It can't. How does it go here with it? This makes
How
no
does it
sense.
get there? Is what I want to know.
And how is yeah, that is what I want to know too.
So
actually,
back in here. Sorry, in the
sorry,
micro.
I just want to see because I had to do this similar thing. Surely it was proxy.js. Yeah, I had to implement this, but has get set delete own keys, but apply. Yeah, but you see, I've implemented it like this. This is a proxied function call. It just has this.
So we're just passing in a bunch of.
It's just a function that has arbitrary arguments.
Yeah.
Because I don't. You can see, I have this proxy handler here, but I'm not implementing apply. It just has get set. Sorry, and delete property own keys. Is extensible. I don't implement apply. I'm just wondering how apply JavaScript proxy apply. Yeah, this is call.
Hmm. Okay, so that might explain why the others work. Is because they implement apply.
Apply is a function that takes target this arguments list. But how is it run from call? Like how does a call turn into that function call? Trapping a function call called 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so this is, we need to understand this, I think.
Yeah.
How does it turn a call into target this args and argument list? Object internal methods, call, corresponding trap apply. Yes, but how does it convert? If we go back to there, it'll just tell us.
Okay, so this is the equivalent of Andrea's code we're looking
Yeah.
at.
I want to log the. Can I change
We're
this
learning
here?
JavaScript as we're trying to debug it.
Okay. This arguments list. So if we run that, I don't know how this works, but it does. So this is the target. The first thing, it's a function called sum. This arg is undefined, and the argument list is an array of 1, 2. Right. Right, so JavaScript internally is converting this it's converting this function call here into something like proxy JSRef. No, well, that's the target. Then there's
Yeah.
something for the argument, and then there's a list a0.js, and it's doing like something to apply of that. Yeah.
Yes.
That's what I think it's doing. It's
But in the context of this call, it's that something that I think is causing the problem here.
who's the
Because
target?
that's the this. Hmm.
Handler equals apply. Oh, proxy is a new proxy, some handler, yeah. So it's a proxy, of course. You've got to create a proxy object, which it is here.
Yeah.
Okay. So you've got to create a proxy object with target and then proxy handler. Like, yeah, okay. So this thingy here is a proxy object with a target. Okay, cool. So the target is the
Handler.
no, the first thing. Yeah. Okay. When you create a proxy like that, the first argument is a target and the second
Yeah.
argument is your handler.
Right. Okay. And in that you've got the apply.
So the target is this bound function. Sorry, this bound, which just returns this. And then
Handler.
the object, the handler is this code over here that we're seeing on the left, the
Yes.
proxy handler. So that's fine. So it's calling apply. And the target is this bound thingy, which is correct because that's what we see just here. That this argument, we don't understand where that comes from, but the arguments is the rev args. So everything works as expected here, but we just don't know why or where the this arg comes from and how it determines what that is. Here it's undefined.
Feeling of the Google coming on?
So, well, yes, but whoops. But I think there's two problems. One, we don't understand why this arg is resolving to this thingy. And
Well,
two,
could this be what JavaScript currently thinks this, the keyword this, resolves to?
well, yes, exactly. But why also is this bound function returning just this? And maybe that this is also being
That's the wrong this.
scoped incorrectly as well. So there's two thises that are wrong, perhaps. The one coming from bound and the one coming from this arg.
Only we had a language that had explicit self-reference to objects.
So, but this is so how does where does this arg come from? This argument for the call.
This argument for the call, yes. Okay, so what's
that?
This is the other aspect of it, is that in English, when we try and talk about this, we use words like this and that, which makes it's like a pointer, and the actual, it's the difference between quoted this and normal use of this. Makes it difficult to talk about. So okay, so
but it must be coming from. So here's the.
So what is this?
The proxy apply. But yeah, where is this coming from? It must be something to do with the call site here.
Can we not log what this is?
Yes.
Just see what we get back.
Probably will tell us exactly what we need Oh. This is undefined.
Well, how can it?
I don't know, honestly. Obviously, I don't know how JavaScript scopes things, but
No,
I
feel if Andrea had been on this call, in fact, I imagine if he's watching this later on, he's shouting at the screen right now, going, "No, there's this JavaScript thing that does blah."
Maybe if we did something really silly. Again, got to remember I don't know JavaScript.
Join the club. Well,
value
no,
equals value.
no JavaScript enough to be dangerous is, I think, the level of expertise.
Dot bind base x dot bind, and then we can call it. Just do something really dumb. Yeah, so we're not getting this funny thing anymore. We're just getting the proxy. We're getting, oh, sorry, undefined here is a list. Sorry, yeah, but we're not getting that JS proxy stuff, right? So it's just prints okay and call is done. That worked.
So we need to make sure that we bind this in the right way. Because at some point, because for whatever reason, because of the way JavaScript works, and because these callables can be called from different contexts, so this might be a different thing each time it's called.
I'm a bit confused about what this is going on here. Bound. Args. What on earth? This arg. Applied target is that this arg is now reasonable. Args is a list undefined. And then it applies a target again with this arg being undefined and the args being okay. I guess that's because of this bind. Yeah. Because we've got a double call here, right? This thingy on the left is a proxied thingy, proxied object, and we're calling it with bind to this, and then we're calling it with the actual
with
arguments.
the actual thing itself.
So
yeah,
it's this is probably completely wrong, but it's kind of doing something right. If we
this makes me feel very nervous because I really
if we put two calls to okay, yeah, they both worked fine. I mean, I think we've gotten pretty far into understanding the problem.
Yes.
But we
I think I'm more confused. I mean, I understand that it's to do with the scope of this in a particular call context, but I think, well, I don't know.
But yeah, it's strange why it's binding this to proxy JS ref for some weird reason.
That's the bit that I feel nervous about is I can't, it's not explicit to show. Yeah, I mean, if you do that, you should get the same error that we had before.
Well, who knows, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So we know that. Yeah. Okay. So the solution, well, it feels to me like we're applying a sticking plaster rather than.
Yeah, we need someone who knows JavaScript to tell us what to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
But I
where
think
did this come
I hope that were Andrea or maybe Hood to watch this, they'd both be going at this point, oh, Nicholas and Damien, you idiots. All you need to do is blind JavaScript, and that will guarantee that you're going to get the expected this.
Yeah. But if I just do something dumb like this, is this going to change the behavior? Like just put it in a
Just because you've added a reference to, yeah. Oh man, that's so weird.
That's ridiculous. So that's the fix.
Do you know what, Damien? This is going to go down in my kind of annals of, I had this really weird bug. Well, hold my beer. I've got an even more weird one.
So this is part A. This is the working code. And then this is the non-working. Right? Sorry. I will.
No, you need to, yeah, apply yeah.
Okay, non-working is when you call it like this, and then JavaScript is doing something weird with scoping and calling this.
Yes.
Because it was the target of at some point it was the target of a index.
So this, okay, so that's why that's why proxy.js ref is leaking. It's because this, in that context, is the proxy.js, that's the object, okay? Whereas if we gather it from proxy.js ref, and then we call it within the context of that function, this is the right thing.
Yeah, so this is broken.
Oh, man.
But hang on, if we just put parentheses around it, is that going to fix it?
I hope not. I hope it does, but no.
No, it doesn't fix it. Right, so you've got to
You've got to have it within the context of, yeah, okay.
you've got to do it like this.
So now when we actually call it, it's in this is in a different context, right? Yeah.
See, that works. My goodness. Yeah, because apply this arg is undefined, which is what we want. This is really bizarre. But let's put this back to this old thing. At the beginning, let's undo that change just to make sure that was nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay. Hang on, there was a few more lines there. It's doing something a little bit different. Does it look the same? No. See, there's extra stuff going on now. But still it works. So, and I'd rather leave that there because I know that that's the kind of necessary.
The thing is that we're recording this conversation. Andrea's got his popcorn and is probably laughing at us.
No, because this is it's because this is a proxy call. That's
right. Yes. Okay. So it's doing it twice. Yes.
There's a bit of extra proxy.
Yeah.
That's okay. But I think we've gotten to the bottom of it. Working code.
In a comedic sort of a way, yes.
Oh gosh. Bizarre. Yeah.
Oh, Andrea, I hope you've enjoyed this.
We can get rid of this stuff here.
Yeah.
And also that to do is gone.
And the bit over here in the in the other side of things. Yeah.
It's all good now. So we can do OK and OK2 just to make sure it works.
Yeah.
Yep. And 3. Yeah. Okay. But that is
Oh man, that's a weird one.
That's bizarre. Absolutely bizarre. I am kind of okay. I have to change all these things.
Because you're doing the same thing, aren't you? It's the same code
There's
pattern.
another one here. There's
Yeah.
another one here. F equals proxy ret equals F. And then call n. Call n is working because it's got an F already. It's already doing that. Call 0q@arg is doing F. That's doing an F. Ooh, reflect.construct, that's okay. Get length. No, that doesn't need it, I don't think. Here. Probably should do it there. Subscript. Oh, here's it's just called target. Oh, subscript in, subscript load. It's just a bit different. Store. Maybe
I'm going to be laughing about this for days, you know.
Who knows what's going on here? All right. Let's just see if that works. Whoops.
When people claim AI is going to replace developers.
I wonder if ChatGPT could have worked this one out. Okay. So that seems to work.
Oh man, Damien, you're an absolute star. I mean, this has been it's been a real privilege actually, just to sort of
this is a pretty
be
good
wingman to your, co-pilot, to your, pair programming this.
It is quite fun actually.
It's just in a kind of a warped sort of a way.
Because I don't know JavaScript, and neither,
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, it's not that we don't know JavaScript. I think it's we know JavaScript well enough to be dangerous.
But yeah, that's actually it's
Which
quite
is
bizarre that we
the
could
worst
solve that.
possible situation.
We probably haven't done it. I don't know. This feels right, but then again, it's really bizarre.
Yeah. Yes, but I'm going to send this to Andrea. I'm going to stick it on YouTube behind a private link, so Andrea can. It'll cheer Andrea up, no end, no doubt. If he's ever feeling down, he can watch us two flailing around in JavaScript.
This is bizarre. This is
Oh man.
But yeah, the diff is very minimal. It's just that.
Yeah, that's good. And literally all we're doing is getting a reference to the function and then calling the function. That's just the pattern that needs to be done rather than putting it on a single line. Yeah. I'd love to see what you put as the message in the commit.
I don't know. And
JavaScript, oh my.
Comments. We need to put comments here so people don't undo it.
Yes.
In the future, right?
Yeah.
That should be a const as well. Yeah, that's really bizarre. That should also be a const.
Yeah. Const. That should be too.
Can I do const A even though I'm assigning to A later on? Like doing it?
Yes, because you can't change A to rebind to a new object, but the object is mutable. So I think
I can test
run the test suite and see. I'm pretty certain that
K and V ret, they're all consts.
I mean, if I'm honest with you, when I'm writing JavaScript, I use const rather than let.
Yeah.
See why Joe Armstrong and Erlang was everything's immutable.
Yeah.
Can we run the test suite, or did I just miss that?
I did.
And it worked. It
Sorry, the test suite. So yeah,
fantastic.
Test suite actually, yeah, it covers a few things, but and Andrea's thingy works as well, so that's okay.
Awesome.
All right. My goodness. So because of this, must extract target. I don't know what else to say.
Well, even then, that comment doesn't make sense to a regular English user. This,
because of JavaScript, this semantic, and this is in quotes to mean it's just a thing that you should, it's just doesn't have a regular meaning, right?
Yes.
Must extract the target to a variable before calling
So this is bound to the correct context.
it.
But that
Yes,
even then,
maybe.
this sentence is starting to grow into a paragraph that is going to be meaningless. You know, you'll.
Yeah, we need someone to tell us what we're doing.
Yeah, I think I mean, as far as I can tell, and I think you agree with me, what we've just described in those 2 lines of comment is essentially the problem and the solution in one. You know, the reason it didn't work is because this was the wrong thing, and the way to fix it was by just unwrapping it into 2 lines instead of 1. And the fact that proxy.js ref was the wrong this kind of proves the point. That was what Andrea had as his hunch. That's the thing that's leaking. And it's because this was bound to proxy.js ref rather than the context within m_js, which is what it should have been. Oh man, that's a real war story in the pub in 10 years' time type thing. Hey Damien, do you remember that time when we were pair programming?
Yeah, this is, I don't understand it at all, because it's just, how does it resolve this? My goodness.
This is the okay. So here's my hunch. When you call it on a single line, this is the most
the first thing in the line.
The first thing, yes, exactly. Rather than the function that we're referencing and then calling. It's the object that we're reaching into. That's my hunch, but that makes absolutely no sense to me. Or I'm sure it does, because there's a subtle JavaScript rule that tells you about scoping and things, but it's not the simple semantics of Python. And I'm a developer with a very small brain, so
like no.
Yeah. This JavaScript, yeah, at the bottom there was this. There we go. Mozilla.org MDN. That's what we want. This. You're no shit, Sherlock. For the first.
Maybe we need strict mode.
But I think strict mode is the default now. I'm not. It's just so confusing. I'm not sure. Context disappears. Function class.
Inside a function, the value of this depends on how the function is called.
Is this accessed on?
Yeah,
So it was
this is a function call though. This is a function object.f. I understand that this
refers to obj. Yeah, that was what we were seeing.
No, because we were doing obj square bracket and then call.
Yeah.
But I guess square brackets is just shorthand for some dot index. Yeah, that's probably why.
Yeah. So the actual object was the thing that was leaking.
If a function is called with this set to undefined or null, this gets substituted with global this. All right, yeah, this is why I don't program in JavaScript, I guess, because I don't understand this stuff.
No.
It's constructors. Where is it? Indices. Oh, call apply. What's the special method name for index?
You mean like thunder get in Python?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not sure.
Well, here we
I'm not even sure there is one. Is
There
that
must
how
be.
JavaScript works? Get.
Maybe.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, so it's basically because it's like a call to get, right? If we go back to this thingy, get, right?
Yeah.
Property accesses, no, but we want index, not property access. It must be get.
Yes, because
Because indexing with square brackets is the same as just a property. Property
yes.
access of foo.
And
Yeah, this trap can intercept these operations. Property access, proxy of foo. Right. So.
Okay, hang on. But we're talking about this is an object, but we were talking about an array. An
No,
array.
but I know, but
Arrays
in
are
an
indexable
array,
by position,
this is
right?
probably like dot get, like this. That's actually what it is.
That's what it is. Okay, just wanted to make sure. Yeah.
Well, I don't actually. So if I go a equals say 1 2 a dot get, no, index 0, no, a dot at 0, yeah, right. So we could have written this instead as at,
Yeah.
right, and then you can see that when you call it like this, that this is actually the first thing, a naught. That this is that guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why.
Well, thanks, JavaScript.
I mean, I guess it makes sense for some cases.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to enjoy explaining this to Andrea.
I mean, I think this explains everything, right?
Yeah.
That line explains everything.
This explains everything. Oh man. Yeah, it does. Like I said 5 minutes ago, that comment is both the problem and the solution.
Yeah. But this is going to lead to a whole bunch of problems with proxying, because when in JavaScript you're writing a.b.c of x, right?
Mhm.
Then this is a,
Yeah.
right? But if you're doing this from Python and doing proxy keying, you're doing a, get b, and then get c, and then that's just a thing called
Yeah.
f, and then you're doing f of x, and so this is no longer a.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think Hood
So,
would have a good, because he's bound to have encountered this mismatch between the two languages before. Or maybe
yeah.
Andrea's already thought of it and has figured out a way of, the proxy working in the right way.
It's probably why this thingy here is needed. This thing's needed.
Yeah.
Binding, explicitly binding when you load an attribute.
Yeah.
The first time
That's
in
a really
that
good
chain
point.
of
Yes.
extraction, the first time you do the extraction of the first attribute, you need to bind this.
Yes.
So
that you always get the last object as this rather than the first.
The first one. The first one's the one you want, I think, because you want it to behave.
So go
like
back to your example. We want it to be the JavaScript way, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So
Okay.
really you want this to be f dot bind a and then x. Well, where f is a dot b dot c as a function.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. But I'm assuming that is what Andrea's code will be doing somewhere.
Andrea's code.
Because he's proxy.
Yeah.
No, sorry, too many proxies going on.
This
no,
is what
MicroPython will be doing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's what this is supposed to be doing here, I think.
Yeah.
But I don't really understand it. And I've only got that there so that the tests work that I wrote.
Okay, so that's a happen chance that
If type of value is a function. Yeah.
So if base isn't global this, which is inserted when it's undefined,
Global this probably has the wrong.
but bind it to whatever the base is.
Bind it to the
it's
base.
A
yeah.
dot B dot C. Yes, exactly.
Because really
A
this
A
is
dot B dot
doing
C.
base. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because if attribute was foo, this is doing base dot foo and then binding it to base and then passing the rest of the arguments.
Yeah.
And it's only doing it if it's a function. So if you extract, like if you do that example we had of in the worker.
Yeah.
Worker.window.console, none of those are functions, so it doesn't bind anything. But when it loads log, it has to bind it because log's a function.
Yes.
And it needs a this. And the this will be, I guess, that entity, the console.
Or if log doesn't have, yes.
It'll be console.
It'll be the right thing is the important thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think you could do that in, oops. Go away. If you go like console.log.bind console, and then 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So I can bind it to, but if I bind it to say, well, undefined, it should still work. But if I have to bind it to something else, like a list,
it
still actually works. But okay, I guess because console doesn't, log doesn't actually need a this, but okay.
Sure it doesn't make use of this under the hood.
Yeah. So this, yeah, right. Dear. Yeah. So what we should write here is, that's wrong, but
yeah, square brackets.
So I can say, let's rewrite this and say, in JavaScript, acts like that. Oh, proxy of f acts like a function call proxy JS ref.at f ref, and this will be bound to proxy JS ref if there is a chain of calls such as proxy dot like this, but we don't, but proxy JFRS is not this.
Yeah.
So,
in the context of calling the proxy function.
In the context of calling. In context of the call.
Of the call, that's it, yes.
So we must extract the function to a independent variable.
An independent variable,
and then
sorry, the inner teacher in me is
and then call that variable so that this
is pointing to the correct context. The expected.
Well, in this case, it will be so that this is undefined.
Yeah, is undefined.
Well, it doesn't have to be in quotes. I can say correct. It will be undefined. Is that better?
Yeah.
In JavaScript, proxy ref acts like a function called proxy f, and this will be bound to proxy ref chain of calls.
Could we put back the original as well? Because that's the TLDR, and then underneath.
Yeah, that's still correct. That's still correct.
Yeah.
Because of JavaScript is semantics, and we must extract the target of the call.
The target function.
Yeah.
The function.
Yep.
So this is bound correctly. It's bound to the correct
correctly
value.
Bound.
It's bound to the correct value, which might be, as we see underneath, undefined. Yeah.
Okay.
That's the TLDR, and then underneath is, hang on, what the hell's going on, JavaScript? Here's the next paragraph. Yeah. In detail.
Okay. All right. I think that gets to the bottom of it.
Yeah, it does. I'm going to stop the recording now because.
Okay.